All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy. And after my last video showcasing the lovely White Fox, I had a lot of you guys hitting me up asking me to do the exact same thing for our beloved Rogue. So that is what we are going to be doing today. We're going to be doing some pre-update gameplay with her using the Age of Apocalypse uniform, since I have it and I have it at Heroic and she's due for a new one in update 5.5. And I, for one, cannot wait to get her out of this thing because, as you all know, I think it is repulsive. It's my least favorite uniform out of every uniform that is currently in the game, and I can't wait to take her out of it. But boys, let me go ahead and say this for any of you who saw my White Fox video and you think Rogue is gonna come close to that, because she has a few similarities to her and White Fox. She has the heal, she has immunity, she has iframes, but that's where it ends. Okay, White Fox, she's an amazing support character and she has high damage. Rogue doesn't have a support passive and she is not a character that can do high damage. The only thing Rogue can do consistently for me in this current state of the game, and that's what she's been doing ever since she came in, is Shadowland. She's one of the best Shadowland characters until you get to like stage 40 plus. And then her damage just falls off a cliff and she's not good enough for anything, because even though she's going to stay alive, since she's pretty tanky, she's one of the tankiest speed characters out there. And once upon a time, she was good for Battle World, but Battle World has not been a constant thing in Marvel Future Fight for the past, I don't know, 2 years. And when it does come back, it's flooded with super OP characters that can dust Rogue in a second, even though she's pretty tanky, right? They're going to penetrate whether the immunity, if she puts it up, or they're just going to body her in the iframes. And even with the healing, it's just not enough. So I'm hoping that Netmarble really focuses quite heavily on Rogue's new uniform and either turn her into a PvP beast or make it so that she has high enough damage where she can compete with other characters in 2019 and going forward, because otherwise this is going to be a major letdown for all of us who've been waiting for a Rogue uniform for a very long time. She's one of the last mutants to get their level 70, so hopefully it's something big for a baby here. Hopefully she gets the Scott treatment, at the very least a solid uniform and a tier 3. I'm pushing for Rogue tier 3 just because it would be a cheaper tier 3 than Scarlet Witch, even though I'm in love with Scarlet Witch, y'all know, right? But I would love to see Rogue get a moment to really stand out, and I think there's no better update than this one to do it, right? Give her a level 70, give her a tier 3, give her a uniform, and let her rock the speed class a little bit for a little while. But that's just my 2 cents. I know most of you guys want it to be Quicksilver, and most of you, right, probably are expecting it to be Scarlet Witch. And I, for one, I'm good with either of them. I'm good with any of them getting tier 3, but I would like it to be Rogue. Also, I would really love it if Netmarble would look at Rogue 2 skill, or if they move it off the 2 skill, just her power absorption in general. I would really love it if, instead of just being able to remove active buffs, she could actually remove all buffs, kind of like Doctor Strange, Apocalypse, and Thanos. Because honestly, when it comes to Rogue's ability to absorb the enemy's powers, there should be no limit. She should be able to remove all of their buffs and claim it for her own, right? But I understand that many of us, we want her to be able to copy every skill that's in the game, because that's how her powers work. She touches you, she takes your powers, she makes it her own. However, with so many characters, 200 characters in the game, most of them have uniforms that change their skills. Just imagine how much coding Netmarble would have to do for just Rogue. And let's not even touch on the fact that if Hope Summers comes to this game at some point, she has basically the same powers as Rogue, just on super steroids. So they'd have to do that again. And every time they added new characters in the game, they'd have to constantly update Rogue. Though I don't think that's ever going to happen. But what they could do is they could make it so that she removes all buffs, because active buffs only include stuff like this, like a buff that you apply to yourself. It doesn't include stuff like your tier 2 passive. Like if she gets the ability to remove all buffs, she could take away your tier 2 passive, and she would actually become a much more dangerous character for PvP. And I would like it personally if they went a bit further and made it so that not only can she remove all active buffs, but she can also remove the buffs in World Boss Ultimate. Because honestly, that would be fantastic, and that should be something that Rogue is able to do. Imagine if Rogue was able to go into War Boss Ultimate and remove Cull Obsidian's defenses, remove his damage accumulation, which makes him deal even more damage as you're hitting him. It would be absolutely insane if they actually did that for Rogue. And it would actually be an interesting way to give a character way more damage, but it would also be limited because obviously you would make it permanent. You would make it so that she can only do it every so often, and the buffs would just constantly come back when the bosses go through their phase transitions and power up. But it would be really cool if they made it so that Rogue's debuff, whatever they want to give her, or debuff removal, actually worked in War Boss Ultimate, so she could remove Proxima's high energy defense, remove Cull Obsidian and Ebony Maw's high physical defense, and also remove their energy attack, physical attack, and crit rate buffs that they get throughout the fight. That would be a really cool way of buffing the character without actually giving her insane amount of damage on these skills, because by removing the defense off the bosses, you're basically adding a new element of defense down to the character, right? And also you're making it so that the damage that the bosses are dealing to you is also reduced at the exact same time. It would be perfect for Rogue, and it would be a workaround, and you wouldn't have to create a situation where she can copy every skill in the game, and people would be very, very happy with something like this, especially if it could actually apply in PvP, regardless of whether or not you had somebody like the Wasp on your team. Imagine if you could just remove people's buffs, their tier 2 passive, and all of that, even if they had Wasp on their team, making it so that they're immune to debuffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be really, really cool. Anyways, I'm rambling here a little bit. I'm going to show you guys how I have her set up. It's not much. And in regards to the Urus that were here previously, when we had that event that allowed us to remove Urus for free, I took them off because, like I said, Rogue has been a Shadowland character for a very long time, so I didn't see the point of keeping them. Anyways, let's jump into a little bit of gameplay here so y'all can see what she can do. It's not much, but it is what it is for now. Hopefully we'll be having a whole new conversation when she gets this new uniform that we've been waiting on for so long. Now, I can use her against Corvus at a decent level, but I think the most we can do with Rogue is probably going to be like a stage 40, which is nothing compared to what we can do with like White Fox at level 60. And I have about the exact same invested in both characters. Actually, I have more invested in Rogue because Rogue has a uniform, and that uniform is also at Heroic. So it's actually quite sad. But also keep in mind, White Fox has a really good passive, and she also has crowd control that can make the fight easier for herself. Now, you guys are going to have to forgive me if I'm a little bit sloppy with our beloved Rogue, because outside of Shadowland on a weekly basis, I have not used her in World Boss in a very, very long time. So long that I can't even remember her rotation properly, but I'm pretty sure I got it down pat. It's 5, then 2, then 1, then 3, then 4, then 5 again. Yep, and 2. I should have used. Okay, let's tag here. Let's do a double tag. You can eat those. Come over here. Let's pop that buff. Just imagine if she could remove some of these buffs that this guy has, right? It would be so amazing. Not only would her overall value as a character that can clear content go up, but she would also become an A1 striker. Because if she could take away, I don't know, some of this guy's defense or his attack or whatever, that would be way better than a little bit of defense down, right? You take away 20% of this guy's defense. How much defense? Like 20% energy defense. Yeah, we're not using an energy-based character because Rogue is physical, but if you're using a blast character, most, if not all of them that we use, they're energy-based, right? So if she comes in and she's a striker and she takes away his 20% energy defense for however long that's gone, that's basically a 20% damage increase you're getting right there. That's crazy. Like, if they just made it so that her power absorption worked that way, where she could just remove all active buffs and it included the buffs that these guys get in World Boss, that would be mental. Because just imagine if you could do that to Cull Obsidian and remove some of the insane defense that this guy has, plus remove his damage accumulation that he gets at the later portions of the fight, making it so that the more damage you do to him, the more damage he does to you. If you could take that away, that fight would become like noticeably easier, for sure, for sure. He would still be crazy. He would still be running around like a madman all the time, but he would be doing way less damage and he would be doing more damage. I'm just saying, that would be a really, really good way to make it so that they don't have to go as far as to copy every skill in the game, but they give Rogue something that is unique to her and powerful enough that we could say, you know what, this reminds me of Rogue from the comics. You know what I'm saying? Being able to take away whatever is making these characters really powerful from them. She's not necessarily making it her own, but they could, if she wanted to. Like, if they wanted to, they could say, okay, she takes away 10% and then she gets like a 5% buff. She'll get a buff equal to like half of what she takes. So if they have a 50% attack buff, she take that away, she gets 25%. That would be dope. That would be really, really cool. I might be reaching here, but that would be amazing. Let me know how you guys feel about my idea of just giving her the ability to remove all buffs, not just active buffs, and also including world bosses. That would be mental. Hold up. Also, it would be cool if like half of what you're taking away from them, you could use as your own. That would be a dope way of working around having to give her a copy of every skill in the game, because that would be a list that would constantly be getting updated with every new character or new uniform that gets added to the game. It's way much to add, way too much to ask from these guys. Right? As it stands, it seems like they're having a hard time keeping up with what we already have and coming up with new skills, because a lot of times it's a lot of copy paste. But some of these characters in the comments, they just fight closely to each other, so it's not much you can do. Hold up. Yeah, she can definitely do this. Come on. Oh boy. I want to try her against Proxima and see how high we can go there. I don't think we're going to be able to do much. Let me just bring her back in. Yeah, she can do this. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is so impressive. But yeah, she can do it. Darn it, we got pulled out of that skill. Yeah, but Rogue should definitely be stronger than this, man. But she's level 60 at the end of the day, so what do you expect, right? Anyways, let's jump over here. I want to do a really quick run against Proxima. Definitely not anything in the 70s. I don't even think even the 60s, 50s, or even the 40s would be something she can do. Let's try 35 here. Let's drop these Ignore Dodge Strikers and give her a Weapon X. And yeah, that's all we need. We don't need any healing. All right, let's see if we can do 35. It's definitely a massive drop-off compared to the 50 that we walked through pretty much using White Fox. But again, Rogue definitely ain't no White Fox, which is sad because she's supposed to be way better than a lot of the characters that we have in the game. But what is supposed to happen isn't always what happens in Marvel Future Fight. We should all know this by now, right? Hulk isn't the strongest there is, and that's one of the classic Marvel Future Fight memes. Oh boy. Let's see what we can do here though. Let's see if we can, I was gonna say capitalize on that Weapon X defense down special. Just imagine, man, if you could take away like all of these buffs that these guys have. Like, you would basically have Rogue being able to do something similar to what Weapon X can do, where she reduces so much of their defense that the bars just disappear, right? Because removing 20% plus, like 20% of their defense down. Hold up. She didn't even do her phase transition. She just skipped it completely and just tried to snipe me. Anyways, just imagine you have some defense down on the boss. Rogue comes in and remove 20% of their defenses, right? Boom. You're going to see a spike in your damage right there for the rest of the fight. If it's gone, well, it probably will be gone until they go into a cutscene or do a phase transition. Right? Because, hold up, these buffs, they last for the full fight. So the reason why Netmarble set it up this way is because it's not a refreshing buff. So they would actually have to play around with that, or it would just come back after the cutscene. But still, you'd have several minutes of the fight where you could just constantly remove the boss's like attack and defense stats thanks to Rogue. Oh man, that would be juicy. That would be sauce, boys. She would, from out of nowhere, become one of the best strikers in the game and also one of the best PvE and possibly a PvP character as well, depending on how well they do with her. But yeah, 35 is a joke. Well, it's a joke, and she still can't even do it. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. I don't like making these kind of videos with my characters that I actually like from the MCU characters that I grew up loving, right? I hate making these kind of videos where they're like really, really bad. But in her case, I'm hyped because there's the potential of greatness waiting for us, right? I'm hoping that tier 3, you know what I'm saying? Or at least a really, 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 really good game-changing uniform for her. Come on. Yeah, we can't do this. The only good part is Proxima isn't being super ultra annoying with the lightning. So at least we can fight and we don't have to spend the entire match running away. We're gonna stop at like a minute. We just want to see. Weapon X, can you bless us with some more defense down? Also, because her hits, because the hits are so few on her skills, you cannot keep the proc consistently with her. Like, maybe I just suck at using her, and I would say that's probably the case because I haven't used the character in World Boss in like 2 years. There's a lot of rust here, but honestly, they need to put more hits on her skills, because even her 5th, look at that. Her 5th just doesn't do enough damage, and the proc is just almost always late. It's almost always at the end, no matter how long you wait. She's a good candidate for Rage though because of her tier 2 passive, but still, being a candidate doesn't mean you are deserving. It just means it would mesh well with your kit. It doesn't mean you deserve it. So we'll have to wait and see if she's actually deserving of it. She would need to get some insane amount of damage and some overall really good utility against all of the bosses to be deserving of a CTP of Rage for me. Y'all know I'm gonna always give y'all my honest, unbiased opinion, regardless of who it is and how much I love them. So it looks like with a little bit better gameplay and some better proc timing, yeah, we could do 35. Okay. I said I was gonna stop in a minute, but I got caught up in the action. Anyways, boys, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments. This is my Rogue. It's not the best 36,000 in the world. That's quite deep, but y'all already know once the update goes live and we get her new uniform, we're gonna give her that beast mode treatment. Uru's gonna be on her. We're gonna get her a better build, and hopefully we can come in and we can say some great things about Rogue after all this time. Anyways, boys, thank y'all so much for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you guys can do with Rogue in this current state of the game, whether you have the Age of Apocalypse uniform or the classic one. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.